Chapter 2 Blasted Carpool. "Let me see your hands, goobers," Rita said, passing out sanitizer wipes to Barry, Michael, and John. She narrowed her eyes. "Drop the Chiefs puffs, Michael." She was supposed to be picking them up after school, but she stood blocking the door to her sky blue electric car. Their parents had bought it used for her 16th birthday, with the promise that she'd take over driving the school carpool. The car was her most prized possession, the ticket to her freedom and nights out with her friends. And lately, Barry had noticed that impressing her friends was all Rita seemed to care about. She spent hours primping in the bathroom, curling her hair, and applying endless layers of makeup. If she wasn't doing that, she was texting them on her phone and trying to make them laugh. She constantly worried about what they thought. Yet another reason being a teenager seemed like no fun. Barry loved his two best friends. He didn't have to worry about impressing them or what outfit he wore to school, or if his naturally curly hair was frizzing out. They'd known each other since they'd been assigned to the same table in kindergarten, and he knew that they'd be best friends forever. They called themselves the Lost Boys, after their favorite band, of course. They even had a secret handshake and a special knock that they used to sneak through each other's windows after curfew so they could play video games. Their families even lived on the same cul-de-sac, which made the covert activity that much easier. Michael, who was shorter and stockier of Barry's two friends, clutched the bag of cheese puffs protectively, but Rita yanked them out of his fluorescent orange fingers. "Hey, I was still eating those," Michael yelped. She ignored him and tossed the bag in the trash. "My carpool, my rules," Rita said, leveling them each with a penetrating stare. "I know that Mom was lax and let you do whatever the heck you wanted to her car, but there's a new captain in town. You do what I say, or else." "Dude, your sister is mucho scary," John whispered to Barry and Michael as he wiped his long fingers with one of her wipes. John was tall and Reed thin. He and Michael used to joke that when they stood next to each other, they resembled the number 10. "Seriously," Michael said, glancing mournfully at his discarded cheese puff bag. Each of them dutifully finished wiping their hands under Rita's close watch, then piled into her back seat. Barry didn't dare try to ride shotgun. The last thing his sister wanted was to be seen sitting with her little brother. Plus, he wanted to sit next to his friends. They pulled away from the school. Barry watched the building fade away in the rearview mirror. He'd had a terrible day that started with him getting busted by Mr. Bates for not completing his math homework. So he had to stay inside during recess to catch up, and it ended with even more math homework getting piled on top of his desk. It was his birthday weekend. The last thing he wanted to do was homework, and he knew it would only get worse as he got older. Next Friday, he'd graduate and officially be in junior high. His eyes fell on Rita's overflowing backpack in the front passenger seat. It could be worse, he thought. I could be in high school. Rita followed the familiar route home through their quaint town of New London. The road snaked past the ocean, where the steep cliffs plunged down to the rocky beach. Waves lapped up at the rocks, eroding them slowly. In the distance, Barry could just make out the marina by the mast of the many ships and boats docked there. Clouds hung in the sky, occasionally spattering the windows with raindrops. As the car came to a stop at a red light, Barry reached for the window button, but Rita clicked the child safety lock before he could hit it. "What did I say, goober?" she said, catching his eye. "Repeat it back to me." Your carpool, your rules?" Barry stammered back. "Yep, that's right. Don't touch anything back there," Rita said, turning around to glare at them, "or you will each die horrible, painful, excruciating deaths. Got it?" "Dude, Your sister's not kidding. She might actually kill us, John whispered. She should keep her eyes on the road at all times. Hands at 10 and 2. That's a thing, right? Hey, what if she tries to text while driving? Michael whispered, nervously eyeing her phone in the center console. Do we call the cops on her? Trust me, she does not want to get grounded and lose her car privileges, Barry whispered. All she cares about is hanging out with her cool friends. The light turned green, and Rita had no choice but to focus on the road. Barry relaxed slightly. At least carpool with his sister was less boring than carpool with his mom, and Rita was a decent driver. Not that he was surprised. His sister was usually pretty responsible. Well, for a teenager, to quote his parents. Rita switched on the radio. A familiar song blared out of the speakers. It was the Lost Boys' new hit single, Neverland. Your birthday is almost here, Michael said to Barry, punching his arm playfully. Lost Boys concert, here we come. He broke into an air guitar jam as the song hit the upbeat pop chorus. Second start of the ride and straight on to morning. The three of them sang along. Even Rita bopped her head along to the catchy tune. Nobody could resist it. Yeah, can't wait. It's gonna rock, Barry said with a grin. But first, I have to go to the Maritime Museum with my family this weekend. He rolled his eyes at the thought. The Maritime Museum? John said. What's that? Like some kind of stupid boat museum, Barry said. We're going on Sunday. My dad loves that history stuff, but it looks pretty boring if you ask me. Nah, it's dope, Michael said, perking up. My family went last year when my cousins visited from Maine. The pirate stuff is the best part. Oh, right, Barry said, remembering the picture on the website that morning. Wasn't there, like, some famous pirate captain? Yep, Michael said. Apparently, he was the most dangerous and bloodthirsty pirate on the high seas. There are all kinds of sick stories about his misadventures. Like what? Barry asked. Well, I don't remember, Michael admitted. I wasn't paying that much attention on the tour. But there's a real pirate ship you get to go inside, and instead of a hand, he has a hook. A hook? John said nervously. I know. I saw the picture, Barry said. Do they really not know how he lost his hand? Nope. Nobody knows, Michael said. It's like some kind of mega mystery. Even the tour guide didn't know. A real-life mystery, Barry said, quietly intrigued. He'd always wanted to solve a real-life mystery, like the boys in his books. I wonder what happened to it. Do you think someone chopped it off with a sword? Or maybe it got caught